I really appreciate Manas for being today. Manas Pati will be addressing all the students today. He will be giving the tips and giving us basically telling us how you as a student can build up a career in banking and financial sector. So Raghu will be putting up questions to Manas, and Manas will be addressing those. And we will have the Q&A session in the later half, in the basically the last 10 to 15 minutes. So you can post your questions in the chat window, and we will take it up in the last 10 to 15 minutes time. So over
Great,
to
thank
you,
you.
Raghu.
Yeah, thank you so much, Himshubhra, and thank you all for joining. And I wanted to quickly give you a brief about myself. So I am Raghu Kaimal, a part of TCS Ion, which is a strategic business unit of TCS. And I am from the corporate partnership of a particular program we call it as TCS NQT. And this is one of the session we wanted to start, much before itself, but somehow we are starting it here, and really happy to have a lot of young and vibrant, students like you and aspiring students like you. So we have a very exciting speaker today. So I just wanted to introduce Manas to you. So Manas Sappati is the head of HR of Vistaar Finance, which is a leading NDFC in India with over 200 locations. They're present and about 13 states in India. And Manas comes with almost 18 years experience in HR and recruitment space. He completed his MBA way back in 2014, and this 18 years of experience he brought in. He could steadily grow in his career and become the CHR of a leading financial service organization. So his experience predominantly covers in recruitment. He started and then he moved into HR operations, HR, business partnership, HRBP we commonly call as. So that's the kind of experience he come with. And before joining Vistaar Finance about 6 years ago, he also have experience in companies like SDFC Life, Max Life, and a couple of other companies as well. So Manas, very excited to invite you for this career talk session, and I wanted to start by as a first step to hear from you about your experience, your passion, and your career journey so far. Over to you, Manas.
Thank you, Raghu. Thank you very much for having me here, and thank you very much for this warm welcome. It's indeed a pleasure to hear so many nice things. Well, talking about myself, I was born and brought up in a small town called Raurkela, that is in the western part of Odisha. Okay. And I studied in a local Odia medium school, and I did not know anything about English until the class 6th. Okay, I learned about A for apple in the class 6th only. Okay, I grew up like any other Indians. I grew up watching movies and playing cricket. Along with that, I've paid a lot of attention towards my studies as well. Okay, it was a it was a middle class family. So like any other middle class family, it was a close bonded family. So we brothers and sisters grew up all together. Then as I was good in studies, so I came out of Raurkela soon after the class 12th and started and did my education and did my graduation from Ravenshaw College, Odisha. Then moved to Bangalore to do my management MBA and I completed in the year 2004. I was not very happy in the first 2 years of my career. I think I was struggling. I was not at all happy, and I was very sad to see others moving up, my classmates moving up rapidly. But one thing I kept on doing is that I remained focused on my work, whatever small or not so interesting work. And after 2 years, I think I got my major break, and then I moved across cities. I worked on various interesting assignments. I think I'm lucky to work with some senior people, absolutely brilliant people, and then I moved up the ladder of success. And after working for some 16 years, I think I got the role of a CHRO. And as you said that yes, Vistaar Financial Services is a leading NBFC, is doing extremely well. And if everything goes well, we might get listed in next 1.5 year in the stock exchange. Okay. So
Great.
after
I
17
think,
years of
sorry to
working,
interrupt, Manas. I think your voice is a little low, is what everybody is suggesting. So it's breaking in bit. I could hear you very well, but I don't know, somewhere.
No, it's fine actually, Raghu.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
can hear very well.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. I think you know, your voice is a little low. I feel, but otherwise it's good. Okay. People are saying it's fine now. Yeah. Okay.
it's fine.
Sorry to.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's okay. So, I mean, what I understood after working for 17 or 18 years is that couple of things that matter in life. And I think apart from the education that where you put a lot of focus, and I'm a great believer of having a great education. I'm not talking about percentage of marks that you secure. I mean, that is also important. But apart from that, I think the fundamentals that you pick up, there are other things that I understood is that hard work matters, networking matters. Okay. And the third thing that I learned in a very hard way is that money is only a byproduct. If you do certain things, then you will get money. Okay. If you start chasing money, then you will be very soon disappointed in life. So these are my three biggest learnings. I mean, after working for 17 years, after working with so many great people, these are my three biggest learnings.
Great, Manas. Good to hear that. You know, I think you know, came from a very, you know, humble background, and you know the way initially you struggled in a couple of years in careers. I think everybody do that, and we are not born with silver spoon. So it's not mandatory that you have to carry that silver spoon to, you know, reach places. So it's good to hear, and you know, I think it's heartening to hear that, you know, you come from a you know, a place where, you know, it's not from a you know, tier one you know, location, but then you aspired for the best opportunity, and you know, you grew continuously putting hard work, and you grew in the organization. So that would be pretty much you know, a motivation and inspiring to a lot of you know, young aspirants who's listening to you here. So thank you so much for that. So what I would do is that I can probably you know, ask you questions we curated, and what matters most to the students out here. I will ask as few questions to you, and then, you know, if you can add value to those questions, you know, I'm sure that will add value to the students out here. So let me jump into a few questions for you, Manas, if you may allow. So if I may ask you the first question, I just want to know more about, you know, according to you, what are the career opportunities in the, you know, banking and financial sector? So means I'm sure a lot of those aspirants are really interested in knowing this particular point.
See, I mean, banking and financial sectors, it's a big ocean, you know. And whatever career that you want, you will get it here. Okay. I mean, what are the typical opportunities that you would get? I mean, you would get, say, sales and marketing, credit and risk, then HR, operations, analytics, marketing, audit. I mean, you name it, you will get it. Because as I said, this is an ocean. Okay. So, but you'll have to decide. I mean, you'll have to decide which are the sub areas of each department or each area that you want to get into. Because I represent HR, so I would pick up the example of an HR career. Suppose you want to get into the compensation benefit of HR, okay, or you want to get into the talent acquisition, or you want to get into the L&D, okay. Now these are the career options that would be typically available in banking and financial services. Now, suppose you want to explore career in finance, then there will be various further opportunities, say investment banking, debt and equity, maybe financial modeling, maybe financial data analysis, so on and so forth. But I think as the time has progressed, a couple of niche areas have also come into the picture. Something like analytics. Okay, now this is the biggest buzzword. Artificial intelligence or machine learning, big data analytics. I think these are the newer areas. Cyber security. Okay. Now, these are some of the areas that people may explore apart from exploring some of the traditional or the age-old departments that we generally see in banking and financial industry.
Absolutely, absolutely. I agree with you. And again, I think there is the departments and the what you say, the it's actually we can see a blurring away of departments or different functions. And now let's say there is hardly any difference between sales and marketing. So all of us are working together to achieve. So customer become in the center, and then all functions revolves about customer experience these days. So yeah, there is a lot of change happening, and technology is also driving in a big way. And even non-engineers, they are getting into functional roles in the initial phases, and then they move it to, let's say, functional. Sorry, I'm saying more. What to say, technology oriented or consulting oriented jobs. So yeah, it's very heartening to see that industry is evolving, and we see a lot of new roles coming up in the industry. Good to see that. And maybe when I move on to the next question, is if you can just give a brief about what are the qualification degrees, specialization, which predominantly would be the right apt for, let's say, banking and financial services as an industry, as a first question. And then maybe if I extend that, what are the typical hiring process BFSI company follows for fresher hiring?
See, on the face of it, I would say that a graduate degree or a post-graduation degree would be sufficient. Okay, on the face of it. Now, what are those graduation degrees? Maybe you can say that Bachelor of Engineering, Bachelor of Technologies, or maybe um, Bachelor of Arts, Commerce, or Science, or whatever. Or the post-graduation degree, maybe MBA or MCA or something like that. Okay, but you also have to understand. I mean, people need to also understand that yes, all these degrees or certificates are good to be mentioned on the CV just to get an entry. Okay, but the job market is completely competitive nowadays. Okay, so at the same time, when you talk about these basic degrees, you also need to understand that you will have to acquire other certifications as well. Certification in the sense, suppose as I talked about, say, career in finance, then do you know enough about the financial modeling? Have you done any work on financial modeling, and have you acquired any certificates on financial modeling, or have you acquired any certificates on financial data analysis, or maybe for that matter corporate finance, or maybe for that matter data or equity raise processes? Now all these courses are available at a very cheap price, or if you deep dive further, maybe you can get them free. I mean, if all the information are now free in internet. So as I repeat, on the face of it, maybe a graduate or a postgraduate degree would be sufficient. But as job market is becoming very, very competitive, you'll have to deep down further, and you'll have to fine tune your skills to get a better job, or maybe the best job that you are looking for.
Let me jump into my next question. Manas, so I just want to know, see, since we have been under this pandemic situation for last, let's say, 2 years almost. So how COVID has changed the way BFSI companies hire? That would be my next question.
Well, definitely, the COVID has changed a lot of things, not only the hiring process, but also a lot of things. Okay. But as this question specifically is on the hiring process, yes, it has. So, if you look at before COVID time, I mean, how the recruitments or the hiring process used to happen. You would get a call, then they would ask you to come. The recruiter would ask you to come to the office, and there would be a face-to-face interaction. Okay, now the face-to-face interaction has been replaced by a virtual interview, or by a web-based interview, or you can say video conferencing interview. Okay, now uh, I mean, this has led to a different kind of problem also, because there have been many articles that I have gone through, and I found that people have been found faking during the virtual interviews. Okay, I mean, even though I'm speaking, but behind me actually there is someone else speaking. So a lot of cutting edge companies, I mean new age companies, they have deployed a new level of artificial intelligence tool to find out the authenticity of the candidates. Okay, now that is one thing I think that has taken place. The second thing is that location is no longer a constant. I mean, earlier, I mean, say as I said that I am coming from a small town called say Rourkela. So earlier the chance was that being in Rourkela, I would get a job only in Rourkela or maybe peripheral area. Now, because of the technology, now because of the advancement of technology, this has become a boundaryless. Okay, being in Rourkela, and there has been ample number of examples that we have come across. Uh, uh, Companies have now become open that we are not worried about the location where you're operating out from. As long as we have got the skills, we are fine with that. So location has no longer become a constant. I think that is the biggest boon that COVID would have brought it. Okay, earlier what used to also happen is that before pandemic, you come out with a JD, you give it to the candidates. Okay, and then on the basis of the JD, then there would be a couple of rounds of interviews. Okay, and that's it. uh, but now the companies, along with the JDs, they have to sell themselves, because in last 2 years there has been lots of ups and downs. Even the companies have gone through lots of financial upheavals, lots of financial complexities, challenges. Lots of companies have been shut down. Okay, now they have to prove to the candidates that yes, we are a good company, we promote employee well-being, we will take care of you, we are financially sound. Okay, and don't worry, you just come. So earlier it used to be uh, it used to be like candidate driven. Now companies have to sell themselves, companies have to be innovative, companies have to show their flexibility and agility to prove to the candidates that we deserve you. I think
Absolutely.
these are some of the changes that I think. But at the same time, I mean, while we hear all these goody things about working from home, location is not a constant, but it is not like that all the companies in falling into this BFSI can afford to have that, because there are smaller players who cannot afford to have big technological things in their kitty. Hence, they would prefer a probably hybrid model. So we also saw that once the second COVID eased out, companies started asking their employees to come back to their offices and start working maybe couple of days in a week, couple of days in a month. So hybrid model has also started taking place also. Okay, also need to understand that BFSIs or financial services, and this is critical to understand, that we fall into the essential services. It means while the other companies have been asked to work from home, the RBI or the government of India has allowed us to come to offices and work. Hence, you should not be surprised that some of you or many of us have been asked to come to offices and start working. So while there at one side there is work from home, location is not a constant, but things have also started moving to the other end because we are falling into the essential services. So something has fallen in between. So candidates or the students have to keep this in mind, that if you're lucky, you may get chances. If you are, I would not, probably lucky or unlucky may not be the correct word, but do not keep it as a determining factor that if I don't get this, I should not join this company.
Absolutely, absolutely, I agree. So I think there are few points which you brought in was pretty very important. One, how technology has changed and how the adoption of technology has changed in recruitment. Then location becoming more of not a main criteria, and then which has opened up more opportunities for people even in the tier 2, tier 3 cities. Then again, as you mentioned, now see, other day I was listening to Manish Sabarwal, who's a chairman of Team Lease. He was saying that everybody was harping on work from home and stuff. So he said about 80 to 90% of our Indian workers, they have to work from the work location. They cannot work from home. So see, there are only about 40 lakh IT professionals who's working in industry like where you can work from home. But there are the large pool of this one is still required to work from let's say offices or workplaces. So yeah, I'm saying there are these things would have given challenges to certain organization, where how you make sure that you make the workplace more what to say, adaptable to these pandemic situations. So which is again a lot of HR leaders have played major roles to make workplaces more safer, while you are in this kind of scenario. So yeah, very interesting point, Manas. Maybe I will jump into my next question. I just want to know, maybe it's more like how India is evolving, in the evolving jobs or careers in BFSI over the next 5 years. What you are predicting?
Well, I think we're entering into a very exciting phase of economy. Okay, the first phase of lockdown was a horrible experience for all of us, and we did not know what to do, how to react, because not only India, the entire world was going through a difficult time. Okay, because it was an unprecedented event. None of us are aware what to do. None of us are aware about what steps to be taken. Okay. Uh, uh, but at the same time, I mean, as first pandemic started moving out, then economy started opening up. BFSI BFSI plays a larger role in India, in Indian economy. Okay, so and it holds a big importance in the entire ecosystem. Okay, so a couple of examples that I would like to talk about. Let's say the example of, say, life insurance. We all saw that after during the first pandemic, many people lost their near and dear ones. Many family lost the prime bread earners, and they were left with nothing. They were grappling that what would happen to our financial securities. Okay, so life insurance, soon after that, the importance of life insurance suddenly gone up. Then the same thing also valids true for the motor insurance or the general insurance. A lot of people started to having their own personal vehicles because they did not want to get in contact with someone else because of the fear of contracting, right? As a result, the business of general insurance started booming up. Okay, the same thing, we also saw that people lost their people lost their jobs. People saw some of their salaries being cut, but after a few months, either they got the job or found their salaries to be restored. So they started, earlier they thought that preserving cash was the biggest thing. Now, after a few months, they started seeing that they have to lead a better life. They have to start spending on consumer durables. They have to spend on electronic items, so on and so forth. Okay, so the economy has started coming up again. Okay, so we'll see a lot of opportunities coming in BFSI, NBFC space. So I think we are getting into a very interesting phase. People should not be worried about it, whether we will get a job or not. If you have got right amount of skill sets, then I'm sure you will get it.
Great points. I'm saying, see, I can see an analogy, at least in Bangalore, where I'm based off. In the last pandemic, like people on lockdown, and they're all really getting frustrated. I see many of them, the demands for, let's say, resorts were going extremely high. I'm saying that is one of the example. What I see is that people craving to go out and enjoy in the nature. So yeah, I agree that people change the habit when I'm saying when the initial thing happened, when people lost jobs, they had some apprehension, and then when they really started getting the job back, and then when the market was booming, and we see most of the industries come back to normal, except maybe a couple of them. But even I think some of the industries which would have probably affected was the resort industry. But what I have seen that at least in the periphery of Bangalore, I've seen business is roaring for them. So I'm saying, so it's interesting to know like how these kind of larger pandemic can affect the interest, and I'm saying the customer interest, and customer what to say, taste, right? So yeah, very interesting to know these changes in the last. I'm saying people have had very bad times, and then people also realize the value of let's say life insurance value. And maybe you also mentioned about people buying cars, and then they are also getting a lot of general insurance sales. So yeah, so I think even the automobile sales have gone up drastically in the last 1 year or so, because people are seeing let's say 40%, 50% increase in sales on most of the brands. I'm saying really exciting to hear that, and really happy that India is going to grow at about 9% GDP, and I think it's going to continue this financial year is what is expected. So yeah, I'm saying definitely BFSI is going to be one of the major industry is going to drive that kind of growth in India, and I'm saying very excited to hear that from you, Manas. So maybe I'm switching gears here, and I just want to know, or maybe you shaped up a little bit initially in the thing, like you also told about the how technology is shaping banking industry. So maybe if you can dive some deeper insight into it, it'll be very interesting to know.
See, I think after the first pandemic, we all have realized the importance of technology, right? Technology definitely, earlier also technology played a critical role, but soon after the pandemic, we all understood how it has become the quintessential item for all of us. I mean,
Absolutely.
earlier you used to go to a kirana shop, okay? You used to carry your mobile, you used to carry your wallet, okay? Then after a purchase, then if it is a smaller transaction, then you would pull out for 10 rupees, 20 rupees, or 50 rupees, and you would give it to the shopkeeper, okay? Now, soon after the pandemic, what you are required to do, you are required to go to the kirana shop, just pull out a mobile phone, scan the QR code, Paytm, Google Pay, or whatever. That's it, right? Else, you would give an order, the kirana store would come to your doorstep, would hand over the items, you would put his phone number, and the job is done, right? Today, you are not required to carry your wallet anywhere. Without carrying your wallet, you can travel anywhere, everywhere, and you can buy a lot of number of things. I'm not talking about buying a Mercedes or BMW or a car for that matter, but the day-to-day items like be it grocery, be it your apparels, be it your shoes or whatever. You just have to pull out your mobile phone, scan it, and that's all. Okay. So the point that I'm driving here is that earlier there used to be a lot of manual processes that used to increase the TAT. Because of the technological advancement, the manual interventions have been converted to the technological interventions, and that has reduced the TAT. Okay, and that has led to a better customer efficiency, customer delight, operational efficiency, so on and so forth. Okay, now as I said earlier, that it has become a boundaryless. Okay, it has actually become a boundaryless. The whole world has become your customer right now, and because of that, you get availability of a lot of data, and because of the availability of a lot of data, you are in a position to do a lot of consumer behavioral analysis. Okay, customer reachability has become easier and more affordable, and that has led to, as I said, it has led to customer delight, operational efficiency, so on and so forth.
Absolutely, absolutely. Agree with you. So I think we are getting a pouring number of questions from the students, and probably what I'll do, I will take up one curated question which we have taken up, and then few questions from the students. We'll take it up post that, if that's okay with you, Manas.
Yeah, sure, absolutely, my pleasure.
Okay, so I just wanted to ask you a very, very, very simple question. So you see, what should be the student do extra during the education to have an upper hand during the job search? Because I think that's something will definitely enrich students out here. And then possibly we'll take up some questions from students. We have already about 5:50 now, though we missed some time in between. I think let's try closing it by maybe by 6 positively. Yeah, so this would be an interesting question or an interesting thing to note for all the aspirants out here.
Yes, I think this is an interesting question indeed, because I did not have an answer when I was studying. Okay, today I think after 17 or 18 years of experience, I have got this answer. And what the student should do while they are studying. Well, the first thing is that they have to pay a lot of attention towards building their networks. Okay, so what they can do, probably they can join many communities. Now, communities like reading books, writing clubs, be it like communication clubs, be it like English speaking clubs, be it like social service clubs, so on and so forth. Okay. And let me just explain that why these clubs are necessary. Because you will come across a lot of seniors, elders who have have immense experience that they can share. And being a fresher, being a student, you will understand different perspectives from them. That is one thing. The second thing is that as I talked about networking, students should spend a lot of time uh, in devising new strategies to network with people. Now, LinkedIn is a very common platform. Okay, all of us know what is the importance of LinkedIn. You go there, you find out Manas Satpathy, and you send a link. Then most of the time, I mean, people accept this kind of links. Then respect their time, ask them questions. Do not ask them for a job immediately. Okay, ask them some questions, interesting questions about your career, and most of the time, as I have seen, people are ready to help. People are actually ready to help. The third thing I think that we all, I mean, the students should do, they should spend a lot of time on reading. Okay. Now, reading what? I think while growing up, reading was never a habit for me. I learned it in a very hard way. Nowadays, finding books online probably is not the difficult thing. The summary of the books finding online is not a really difficult thing. So pick up the books. Okay, if you think that you're not able to afford a book, then you can probably go to the YouTube. You can get the summary of that book. But let me also tell you one more thing, that a book would be less expensive than a Starbucks coffee or probably a pizza.
Absolutely agree with you.
So we are happy to spend 400 rupees, 500 rupees with our friends on pizzas, on a coffee, but we are not ready to buy a book. That is little saddening. So please spend a lot of time on reading books. Okay. Then the next thing I would say is that the educate yourself on the financial part. I mean, be financial literate, because as you grow up, if you are not financially literate, then you will have to probably, I mean, this is a crude way of explaining the things, but you will have to spend a lot of time in working. If you acquire those financial literacies or the financial skills, probably very soon you will be able to know that you have gathered those wisdom, and you will soon, because of those financial skill sets that you have acquired, you may find a new way of life for yourself. Then the last thing I believe is very essential nowadays is the computer skills. You are not expected to be a master in Excel. It is a must. It is a must. You have to have upper hand on the Excels. You have to have an upper hand on the PPT skills, computer skills. So that's it. I think these are some of the things that you will have to do while you are being a student or preparing for a job.
Oh, wonderful pointers, Manas. So, what I could hear from this is like, maybe a computer knowledge, your financial, I'm saying knowledge plus, I'm saying these are a couple of things which become more like or networking skills for that matter, become more like a life skills for you than, I'm saying, see, you need these skills for live your proper life. So it's very enriching, and I'm sure this would be a really good point for all of them to carry. So maybe I will quickly, I don't know whether we'll be able to take up all the questions from them. So we have quite a lot of people are very active, and really happy to see that a lot of them saying hi to us, and a lot of people are really enjoying the session. So appreciate that, and then we really appreciate all the questions. We will try posting that post the session, because we have our own limitation on time. So maybe I'll take a few questions from some of the I'm saying some very generic questions, which is definitely useful for everybody. So what I could see is Manas, that a lot of them are asking like, they're opening for BCom graduates. So I think no, it's definitely a yes. But then if you want to add something more to that, Manas, it'll be great.
somehow lost
and
in
what kind
between.
of a role they can expect out of, let's say, a BCom graduate? What kind of roles they can get into in a BFSI or a banking financial sector?
If you are a BCom graduate, then the that comes out automatically is a career in finance or accounts, okay? Because you would start with the debit and credit or financial accounting and so on and so forth, right? But I mean, that would be the typical career for a BCom. But once you get into in an organization, then the entire finance department opens up for you. So I think what I repeat is that if a career in finance or accounts would be the first step for you. So and at the same time, probably you can also explore in credit and risk. That is, I think, a coming up, booming up field. If you have got if you have got you have acquired some skill sets in, say, investment banking or maybe debt or equity, then people would not hesitate to give you an opportunity there. And these are some of the niche skills.
Wonderful, wonderful, great, great. I think, see, people are asking a little bit hesitant in terms of how English communication is important for any job. So I'm saying they wanted to know the importance of English communication, because yes, I think a person who has asked the question will definitely know English is important. But I'm saying how, let's say, if somebody doesn't know a good English right now, what do you suggest to them?
See, the answer to this question can be yes, and it can be no also. Okay, whether English is important, the answer can be yes, the answer can be no. Okay,
right.
So why it is yes? Why it is required? Because India is a English-speaking country nowadays. It's no more Hindi, or it's no more regional level, regional speaking language anymore. Okay, so if you know, I mean, if you know English, then you can move from starting from Delhi to down south. Okay, and the vice versa, from down south to you can go up to Delhi, because that would connect you. And most of the communication that happens internally, that would be in English, and you are expected to reply in English, you are expected to talk to someone in English. Okay, so English is definitely important, because that would be a point to impress someone, I would say. And if you are working in an international ecosystem, that would be furthermore important. Why it is no, I mean, why English would not be required? If you are into some kind of job that would be completely into analytics, okay, that would not be consumer facing, customer facing, okay, then even if you are, even if you do not know, even if you do not know how to speak English fluently, then I think still it is manageable. But what I've understood in my life is that if you are aspiring for a leadership position, maybe down 5 years, 10 years down the line, I think English would help you to take you there.
Agree, absolutely agree with you, Manas. Means, yeah, because see, even I think you also spoke about, the way you started, and initially when you were in the school, you could not even talk in English and stuff. Even I am basically studied in, I'm basically from Kerala, and I did my till my 12th in in Malayalam. So I used to struggle in the early days where I used to find somebody who can talk in English to pick up English. Yeah, means I know how difficult it is if you don't know English in the current scenario. Again, I'm saying world itself is moving to a single language, and again, globalization is also picking up big time. And let's say, one more thing what I want to add here is that there are close to about 1,500 captive units going to come to India. And you're going to get a lot of opportunities, and you're going to get opportunities in interacting with world leaders. So for all that, we need English as a communication channel. So yeah, English is going to be very important. But again, I'm saying if you don't know English, that's not your fault. But I'm saying if you don't know English in next 5 years, then it's your fault, I would say. So yeah, and again, I think there are some interesting questions on how I can get a job in investment banking being a fresher. I'm saying that's also one of the interesting area people are picked up, and people want to know what is investment banking and how they can find a job in that space. Any suggestion from your side, Manas?
So to get into the investment banking, I think you need to have an MBA degree in finance. Okay, that is the I mean that is the simplest way of putting it across. Okay, You get a job without an MBA degree, the answer can be yes also, but I think it would be a little difficult.
Correct. Understand. I think, see, what I know about investment banking is that there are different levels of, see, people may come more like a business analyst in the initial phase, and then they understand the fundamentals first, and then you get a fairly good experience in the first 2 years, and then probably we can opt for investment banking as a career. I'm saying that's one of the ways I could think of, if I may add that as a point.
We need to know what is investment banking. Okay, so you might be looking at like stock market. Okay, you might be looking at derivatives. You might be looking at say asset management, like mutual fund companies. Okay, now the investment bankers would spend a lot of time to understand these nitty-gritties. Okay, so unless and until you study all these things unless and until you know what is the meaning of finance, what are the derivatives market, how does the stock market behave, how would you get your career started in investment banking? I mean, this is what I'm trying to say. So hence an MBA would be definitely helpful.
Absolutely. Thank you. I think we are already at 6 o'clock, and I think probably what I can do is I can probably take a couple of questions which is come, I think initially when we spoke about TCS NQT, there are some candidates have taken TCS NQT, and they're also talking about how probably an NQT score can benefit them and stuff. So I'm saying maybe I'll take another 2 minutes to give a brief about what is TCS NQT and probably how it will help them, probably in the future. So basically, I want to give a basic understanding about TCS NQT. So TCS NQT has 3 variants for students to take up, right? One, a cognitive test, which we conduct for anybody, all graduates to take it. So if you are an MBA or a diploma graduate, anybody can take up this cognitive test. So this is basically to showcase your cognitive or aptitude to an organization for their hiring. Apart from that, we have industry variants. So Manas is from BFSI or NBFC or financial services sector. So we have a industry NQT, which it's a 1-hour test. Basically, you can go and showcase your skills on this BFSI as an industry. And then we also have in IT, which probably may not be very relevant here. Apart from that, we also have subject NQTs, where you can have a test on, let's say, typically a lot of jobs with those in business development or sales, or maybe customer service, or accounting. So we have specific NQT variants in these areas. And people who already taken NQT, if the scores are very decent, so what we have seen, anybody who score about 65 percentile in NQT is fairly a decent score, is what I would say. If you're not got that, then you have an option to take up again, take a retest to make sure that you get the right job for you. And one more thing which I've come across is, let's say, many people doesn't know what to do after taking NQT. See, we have a job listing platform, where anybody who has taken NQT have an access to this. And we have onboarded about 652 employers so far in the last 6 months, including more than 70 plus BFSI companies. They are coming and posting, and at this time, more than 10K jobs are available in the BFSI sector alone in the platform, where you can come and register yourself, create your own profiles. You can create your video profiles there. You can come and apply for relevant jobs here, and you can continue looking out for your aspiring job. So I'm saying this is what a quick nutshell. And in the last 1 year of existence in TCS NQT, we have fairly created a good milestone in terms of having about 14 lakh students applied to NQT. More than about 6.5 lakh people successfully completed this test. More than close to 70K students found job through our platform. So I'm saying, yeah, I know. See, not everybody can get the aspired job. So as Manas was mentioning, there are I'm saying you can take up some job. Don't be idle yourself. You take up a job what is available for you, learn from there, move from one place to another. And as Manas mentioned, you should continuously learn yourself, because one is your life skills in terms of networking, your financial knowledge, being and plus I'm saying computer knowledge. And nowadays all of those things are available free of cost. So one continuous increase your network, continues to learn yourself. And I'm saying please be open. If you are an NQT student, you can come to our job listing platform and apply for job as well. So that's from my end. And any closing remarks from you, Manas, to close and on a positive note?
Well, I think job market is intensely competitive, okay? But all of us would like to get that best job for ourselves, okay? But how will you get that? So my recommendation would to be everyone is that to remain positive, focus on education, get your fundamentals correct, learn the skills, okay? And try to connect with people and take care of your health. I'm sure you'll get your dream job very soon. And all the best wishes. Do not lose hope.
Absolutely. So you have to be persistent, and you have to do your job, and remaining things follow. Yeah, even I'm saying, see, I'm very excited to see the kind of growth you had in your career, Manas. Very, very heartening to see the growth you have taken up from where you started. And I think this will prove, and it inspires a lot of students out here, I'm sure. And again, I'm saying it's been a very I'm saying very engaging session. I think you actually showed the actual experience, and how this entire I'm saying, see, job search has always been a very tough, initially in the entry or the initial 2 years is always tough. So I'm saying these kind of motivational talks and tips will definitely help students out here. So thank you so much for joining us, and really wonderful having you in this session. And I'm saying I'm good. And Himshubra, any other closing comments from your side? Otherwise, we can happily close it, and probably we'll try taking any possible question, and we can reach back to students. We are ready to do that as well.
Sure, Raghu. I think it was a very great session, though there were certain hiccups, but really thankful to Manas and thanks to you, Raghu. Just wanted to tell the participants that the job listing platform link has been posted in the chat window. I have posted it. So you may please go through it. As Raghu mentioned, there are jobs specific to BFSI domain. So you can look up for the jobs which are suitable as per your role, and you can apply accordingly. So thank you once again to all the participants. Thanks to Manas and thanks Raghu for giving us this wonderful session. I think it will be helpful to our participants as well.
Thank you, Himshubra. Thanks for the opportunity, and thank you all for the wonderful questions and the patience listening to us. Plus, I'm saying patience in managing the current tough times and a lot of hiccups. So really appreciate the participation, students, and we wishing you all the very best, and a great career. So I am also available in LinkedIn, and Manas also is available in LinkedIn. And if we can help you in some way, we are open to do that as well. So thank you again. Thank you so much.